Presumption of constitutionality. Alvarez v. Ginguna. Facts. This concerns the validity of RA 7330 converting the municipality of Santiago Isabella into an independent component city to be known as the City of Santiago. The law was challenged mainly because the act did not allegedly originate exclusively in the House of Representatives as mandated by Section 24, Article 6 of the 1987 Constitution. Also, petitioner claims that the municipality of Santiago has not met the minimum average annual income required under Section 450 of the LGC in order to be converted into a component city. Apparently, RA 7330 originated from HB 8817 which was filed on April 18, 1993. After the third reading, the bill was transmitted to the Senate on January 18, 1994. Meanwhile, a counterpart bill SB 1243 was filed on May 19, 1993. On February 23, 1994, HB 8817 was transmitted to the Senate. The committee recommended that HB 8817 be approved without amendment, taking into consideration that the House bill was identical to the Senate bill. Issue 1. The IRAs are to be included in the computation of the average annual income of a municipality for the purposes of its conversion into an independent component city. Held, yes ratio. Petitioners claim that Santiago could not qualify into a component city because its average annual income for the last 2 consecutive years based on 1991 constant prices falls below the required annual income of P20,000,000 for its conversion into a city. After deducting the IRA, TI appears that the average annual income arrived at would only be P13,109,560.47 based on the 1991 constant prices. Petitioners asseverate that the IRAs are not actually income but transfers and/or budgetary aid from the national government and that they fluctuate, increase or decrease, depending on factors like population, land, and equal sharing. Petitioners' asseverations are untenable because internal revenue allotments form part of the income of local government units. It is true that for a municipality to be converted into a component city, it must, among others, have an average annual income of at least 20 million pesos for the last 2 consecutive years based on 1991 constant prices. Such income must be duly certified by the Department of Finance. A local government unit is a political subdivision of the state which is constituted by law and possessed of substantial control over its own affairs. Remaining to be an intra-sovereign subdivision of one sovereign nation, but not intended, however, to be an imperium in imperio, the local government unit is autonomous in the sense that it is given more powers, authority, responsibilities and resources. The practical side to development through a decentralized local government system certainly concerns the matter of financial resources. With its broadened powers and increased responsibilities, a local government unit must now operate on a much wider scale. More extensive operations, in turn, entail more expenses. Understandably, the vesting of duty, responsibility, and accountability in every local government unit is accompanied with the provision for reasonably adequate resources to discharge its powers and effectively carry out its functions. Availment of such resources is effectuated through the vesting in every local government unit of the right to create and broaden its own source of revenue, the right to be allocated a just share in national taxes. Such share being in the form of internal revenue allotments, and the right to be given its equitable share in the proceeds of the utilization and development of the national wealth, if any, within its territorial boundaries. For purposes of budget preparation, which budget should reflect the estimates of the income of the local government unit, among others, the IRAs, and the share in the national wealth utilization proceeds are considered items of income. This is as it should be, since income is defined in the local government code to be all revenues and receipts collected or received forming the gross accretions of funds of the local government unit. The IRAs are items of income because they form part of the gross accretion of the funds of the local government unit. The IRAs regularly and automatically accrue to the local treasury without need of any further action on the part of the local government unit. 11. They thus constitute income which the local government can invariably rely upon as the source of much needed funds. To reiterate, IRAs are a regular, recurring item of income, nil is there a basis, 2, to classify the same as a special fund or transfer. Since IRAs have a technical definition and meaning all its own as used in the local government code that unequivocally makes it distinct from special funds or transfers referred to when the code speaks of funding support from the national government, its instrumentalities and government-owned or controlled corporations. Issue 1. Considering that Senate passed SB 1243, its own version of HB 8817, RA 2770 can be said to have originated in the House of Representatives. Held, yes ratio, although a bill of local application like HB number 8817 should, by constitutional prescription, originate exclusively in the House of Representatives, the claim of petitioners that RA 7720 did not originate exclusively in the House of Representatives because a bill of the same import, SB No. 1243, was passed in the Senate, is untenable because it cannot be denied that HB number 8817 was filed in the House of Representatives first before SB number 1243 was filed in the Senate. Petitioners themselves cannot disavow their own admission that HB number 8817 was filed on April 18, 1993 while SB number 1243 was filed on May 19, 1993. The filing of HB No. 8817 was thus precursive not only of the said act in question but also of SB number 1243. Thus, HB number 8817 was the bill that initiated the legislative process that culminated in the enactment of Republic Act number 7720. No violation of Section 24, Article 6, of the 1987 Constitution is perceptible under the circumstances attending the instant controversy. Furthermore, petitioners themselves acknowledge that HB number 8817 was already approved on third reading and duly transmitted to the Senate when the Senate Committee on Local Government conducted its public hearing on HB No. 8817 HB number 8817 was approved on the third reading on December 17, 1993 and transmitted to the Senate on January 28, 1994, a little less than a month thereafter, or on February 23, 1994. The Senate Committee on Local Government conducted public hearings on SB number 1243. Clearly, the Senate held in abeyance any action on SB No. 1243 until it received HB number 8817, already approved on the third reading, from the House of Representatives. The filing in the Senate of a substitute bill in anticipation of its receipt of the bill from the House does not contravene the constitutional requirement that a bill of local application should originate in the House of Representatives, for as long as the Senate does not act thereupon until it receives the House bill. Tolentino v. Secretary of Finance, nor does the Constitution prohibit the filing in the Senate of a substitute bill in anticipation of its receipt of the bill from the House, so long as action by the Senate as a body is withheld pending receipt of the House bill. Every law, including RA No. 7720, has in its favor the presumption of constitutionality. It is a well-entrenched jurisprudential rule that on the side of every law lies the presumption of constitutionality. Consequently, for RA No. 7720 to be nullified, it must be shown that there is a clear and unequivocal breach of the Constitution, not merely a doubtful and equivocal one. In other words, the grounds for nullity must be clear and beyond reasonable doubt. Those who petition this court to declare a law to be unconstitutional must clearly and fully establish the basis that will justify such a declaration, otherwise, their petition must fail. Taking into consideration the justification of our stand on the immediately preceding ground raised by petitioners to challenge the constitutionality of RA number 7720, the court stands on the holding that petitioners have failed to overcome the presumption. The dismissal of this petition is, therefore, inevitable.